all you action figure enthusiasts out there, JC here with another TNI news video. Now we're less than 2 weeks away from the New York Toy Fair, and already we're starting to get some pre-Toy Fair reveals from companies like Hasbro with Transformers. I suspect that we will be getting more reveals from Hasbro really soon, any day now, for both Marvel and Star Wars. But yesterday there were some big Transformer reveals. But before I get into that, before I get into the crux of the news, I just wanted to give you guys a few updates. So again, just a reminder about the contest that we have going on over on the Toy News International and Marvelous News message boards, where we're giving away $100 store credits to your choice of either Big Bad Toy Store or Megalopolis Toys. It's 2 different contests on each site, so you have 2 different chances of winning. And as I always say when I talk about these contests, we do these on a regular basis. So even if you don't win this round, you will likely, if you keep participating, you do have to sign up on the message boards and participate on those message boards, which I assume a lot of you who spend a lot of time on social media and stuff do that type of thing anyway. But the more you do that over there, then the better your chances are going to be in winning. And sooner or later, you know, if you keep it up, there's a good chance you will end up winning. And you know, like I said, it's just kind of a fun way, our way of saying thanks and trying to build up that community over there. My real goal, and I mean, being completely honest, is I want to get you guys off of things like Facebook and Twitter and stuff, which me personally, I'm just tired of, you know, for multiples of reasons. You know, I have to do it for my job, but when I go to Facebook, a lot of times it's just like, I dread it. So my goal is to create a fun place for people to come and just essentially talk about toys. Nothing else, not politics, not religion, but just, you know, toys, action figures and stuff, which I assume if you're watching this video is something that you're interested in. So again, fun way of doing that. I have links to both of the contests down in the video description, so please check that out. Now, the other thing I wanted to update you guys on is we have officially announced the winners for the 2018 Toy News International Toy Awards. This was really kind of a fan choice award. That the way we did it this year, we had you guys, the readers, do the nominations. We had a whole month where we let you guys go on the message boards and nominate your for favorite toy reviewer, 6-inch action figure of the year, toy line of the year, toy company of the year, all kinds of different categories, and you guys made the nomination. So I had, you know, me personally, I had really nothing to do with who won, who was nominated, who got the most votes. That was all on you guys. It was done for fun. It was done to kind of celebrate the people who contribute to this hobby, you know, the toy reviewers, the toy photographers. This is my cat jumping in the way here. This is Salome. Say hi, Salome. She's my new cat. But anyway, so it was basically just our way of doing, you know, something fun to say thank you to everybody, not only just the toy companies themselves, which obviously contribute a great deal to the hobby as they provide the product that we all collect, but then people who work in the hobby and usually work for very little or nothing, you know, do it as you know, just because they're a fan or what have you. Obviously not everybody can win, but you know, there's no losers with these. It's just, you know, and it's all done in fun. But if you want to check out, see who won all the categories, I will put a link in the video description. I'm not going to talk about it here. But again, I just want to say congrats to everybody. Everybody was nominated, everybody who made it to the second round of voting, and everybody who won. You guys all are awesome. I really appreciate the hard work you guys do. And again, this was just really our way of just kind of saying thanks. There are actual awards that are going to be presented at Toy Fair, or for those not going to Toy Fair, they will get their awards mailed to them. Okay, so let's get into the actual news. So as I mentioned before, the big news I'm going to be focusing on is Transformer related. But before we get into that, a couple other things I wanted to share with you guys. So for those of you who collect WWE figures from Mattel, you know, we've been doing a lot more news with the WWE stuff in Mattel recently, but I just wanted to share here, you know, I don't know how many of you who watch me here on YouTube or into WWE figures, but I just wanted to share for their new retro line that they've been doing, which I think these are really nice figures that they do. The packaging is pretty cool. It's made to look like, you know, the classic arcades, you know, arcade cabinet and stuff, and you know, they've been doing a number of figures. These figures are primarily available at places like GameStop, but 2 new figures that have been announced are going to be Ric Flair and Mr. Perfect, which, rest in peace. Mr. Perfect was actually one of my favorite wrestlers growing up. I always I mean, he was, he basically, he thought he did everything perfect. And, obviously he was kind of more of a villain character than a good guy usually. But he was just one of my favorite characters. Unfortunately, he did pass away several years ago. I'm not going to go into details on that, but he was definitely, as a kid, was one of my favorite wrestlers. So he's getting added to this line, and he's going to have Intercontinental Champion. I think he won the WWE Championship belt at one point, but the primary thing was he was an Intercontinental Champion. So they're giving him that belt. He's going to have the towel. He always would have a towel, and he would usually have chewing gum that he would like spit out and hit. No chewing gum included with the figure, but they do have, this looks pretty good and everything. And then Ric Flair, he's going to come with one of his iconic robes, and definitely this looks like a young Ric Flair. So if you're a fan of Ric Flair, I like Ric Flair. I'm not like a super duper Ric Flair fan, but I like Ric Flair. And definitely, he's one of the greats. So those figures are going to be coming to GameStop stores pretty soon. And, we've got the official images up at Toy News International. So if you want to check them out there, I'll put a link. But I just wanted to share that with you. NECA released official images for another new Predator figure. So this is another one based on the new movie, which I still have not yet watched. Every time I talk about these Predator movie figures, I always got to say I got to go watch this new movie. I know it's had mixed reviews, but I still want to check it out. Personally, I really have not been a fan of any of the Predator movies since the original. The original is just obviously a classic. And then I like the second Predator movie. I mean, it's not nearly as good as the first one, but I did like the second one. But pretty much everything after that, I just never really been a huge fan of. But I do still want to check out the new movie, see if it's any good or not. But they're doing a new figure. This one is called the Emissary Predator #1. So I guess there's multiple of these guys. And the thing about this guy is it looks like he's basically wearing army camo gear, which honestly I'm not sure why a Predator who has basically cloaking technology and stuff needs to wear camo, but maybe it's explained in the movie, I don't know. And it looks good. I mean, it's cool looking on the figure. It just doesn't make sense why somebody who has the ability to turn invisible needs camouflage on. But anyway, that's what this figure is, and definitely looks cool. So again, we have these images up on Toy News International. So if you want to get a better look, check it out. Now you've got my dog over here, this Logan, which you can only see his butt there, but there's his face. Logan there, another new addition to the family. Anyway, so so go over to Toy News International and check out those images if you want to get a better look at the new Predator figure. And that should probably be going, I don't think it's up for pre-order yet, but should probably be going up for pre-order at your favorite retailer pretty soon. Okay, now moving on to DC Comics. So we got some leaked images. Well, the images aren't leaked, but the product is leaked. These product based on the new Shazam movie aren't supposed to be hitting for at least another month, I don't think. But they've started to slip out on shelves, as movie product often does. And of course, my favorite thing is the retailers put them out on shelf, but then when you go to check out with them, it tells you can't check out. So always crazy. If you're going to put it out on the shelf, then let the person check out with it. Don't sit there, oh, you can't buy it. We put it out on the shelf so you can look at it, but you can't buy it. And of course, there are ways that people find to actually buy them and stuff, which I'm not going to go into. But anyway, so this is a little bit spoilerish, possibly. And I say possibly because a lot of times with these movie products, and these are Mattel 6-inch basic figures. So these are not like the multiverse figures. These are based on made more for the kids and everything. We saw them do this with Aquaman. They've done them with Justice League. They pretty much do it with all the DC movies. I do assume that they are going to do some kind of DC multiverse Shazam movie tie-in, as they've been doing. We got an Aquaman movie line, so I am guessing that we will get something for Shazam, which I'm hoping we see next week at Toy Fair. But I don't know that 100%. We still don't really know what the future holds for DC Multiverse past 2020. We're still waiting for Mattel to issue some kind of statement on that, which I'm guessing, again, will come at Toy Fair. But anyway, these are the basic figures. They're 12-inch figures that have started to leak out on shelves as well, but I'm going to focus on these 6-inch figures. These images come from somebody on Twitter by the name of Igor, and you can tell these are on some store shelf. I'm not exactly sure what store. I think maybe Walmart, but I don't know for sure. And I've seen other people posting images, so it's more than just one store that's been slipping these out. And again, I think if you try and check out with these, then the computer stops you and tells you they're under embargo. But I don't know the specific embargo date for these either. So, but I'm guessing a little bit closer to the movie's release. But the thing about these is, and the reason why I say these are possible spoilers is because sometimes, especially with these kids lines, companies, because they're just trying to flush out the line more, or you will do stuff that doesn't actually appear in the movie. So even though technically this is a movie line, it's not 100% guaranteed that these are all figures or characters that will appear in the movie. It is, probably some of these at least will, but you can see, these are basically all different Shazam type characters wearing different color Shazam type outfits. I'm aware of some of these, like Mary. I'm familiar with Mary and Freddy. Some of these guys, though, I had never heard of, but you can see they're doing quite a few of them. So we've got Shazam, Freddy, and Daria, and then also there looks like Mary, which again, Mary is a popular character, so I'm not surprised they're doing Mary. Whether she appears in the movie or not, I don't know. But if there's a sequel down the road, then if she's not in this one, I think she, at least the character is, whether she becomes, the superhero, I don't know. But then we've got Pedro. He's wearing the green. That's one I'm not familiar with. Pedro. And then Eugene, which is wearing black, similar to Black Adam, but again, a character I'm not really familiar with. But all these, it looks like they're doing in the 6-inch basic form, and then each figure looks like is going to include a little totem type figure, and this is something from the comics. These guys are called the 7 deadly enemies of man, and so if I remember correctly, demons that basically get put into these little statues. So again, I don't know if this is something that will play a significant role in the movie, or if this is just something that they pulled from the comics to add play value to the figures. We'll have to wait and see. But again, it's kind of interesting to see. I am very hopeful that we're going to get DC Multiverse figures. These figures, they're 6-inch, but they're smaller than the Multiverse figures, and they have less articulation. So, like I said, they're made more for the kids. But hopefully we will be getting some Shazam DC Multiverse figures from Mattel, which we'll see. If not sooner, if they don't leak out sooner, we'll see at Toy Fair. Okay, now moving on to Transformers. So we got some pretty cool pre-Toy Fair reveals yesterday from Hasbro. These are official images. So the first 2 product are based on the Bumblebee movie, and I think we've seen these before. I haven't been following all these, but this is part of their studio series, and it's for the Bumblebee movie, and it's Optimus Prime. And then we're getting better looks at the drop kick figure as well. I think this is the first time we're seeing the car mode for this figure. So again, these aren't exactly totally new, but maybe for some of you who don't follow Transformers super closely, this is the first time you're seeing them. Now, I've yet to see the Bumblebee movie. Things were really it came out during the holidays, and things were really hectic for me, so I did not get a chance to see Bumblebee yet. I have heard that it is at least better than the last few Transformer movies, so at least it seems like it's a step in the right direction. I've not heard anything more specific, like another Transformer movie, or even like what's going on with what's supposed to, G.I. Joe and these other things. We had been hearing rumors about these huge plans for other Marvel-based properties that, and they did comic tie-ins, which seems to kind of fluttered out and stuff. So I really don't know what's going on with any of that. I wouldn't expect any big announcements at Toy Fair for toy lines if you're waiting for G.I. Joe's return or Mask or anything like that. I wouldn't get your hopes up for that at Toy Fair this year. But again, they are continuing to put out some stuff for the Bumblebee movie. And I think it's still in theaters, but at this point I probably won't get a chance to see Bumblebee until it comes out on home release. But, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Did you see the movie? What did you think of it? Is it worth seeing? Let me know in the comment section. But for me, the big exciting news was new reveals for the Siege line. So again, I'm not entirely sure how many of these maybe have leaked out prior, but these were the first time I got to see these characters at least. So, and the big one to me is Omega Supreme. So Omega was teased. They teased Omega Supreme at I think it was New York Comic Con. They showed a unpainted prototype of his tank form. And so I think we all knew, if you followed Transformer news at all, knew that Omega Supreme was coming. But we're getting our first official look at Omega and his multiple modes. So this thing looks incredible based on these images. And I cannot wait to see this in person. I'm sure this will be on display at Hasbro's booth at Toy Fair next Saturday. So I cannot wait to see this thing in person. I've been excited for this figure. Omega Supreme was always one of my favorite large characters. My favorite Marvel comic issue, and I forget the exact issue number, but was with Omega Supreme, and I think maybe that was the only time he ever appeared in the comics, but where basically he comes and he single-handedly pretty much kicks all the Decepticons' asses, you know, Megatron and all the others. So I love that issue. It's one of my favorite issues, and you know, he appeared in the cartoon several times as well. I never thought he was utilized quite that good in the cartoon. Usually he was just utilized as transportation to get from Earth to Cybertron, but you know, he was always one of my favorite characters. I had the original G1 toy. Now we've gotten we've gotten updated incarnations of Omega Supreme over the years, but to me they never really truly incorporated his G1 form, and this one just seems to be dead on. So again, I'm really excited. His city mode looks to be almost identical to the original G1 toy. I don't think it's motorized. The tank was motorized and would go around the track. I don't think this one is motorized, but still looks really good. You know, you've got the rocket and the tank and the track and everything. So that one, I'm definitely excited. I don't get a lot of the big ones that they do. I passed on Metroplex. I passed on Fortress Maximus. I had the original Metroplex, G1 Metroplex as a kid, and I always liked his robot mode, but never really liked his city mode. And then I never had Fortress Maximus, so mainly because size. I just, you know, I don't have this place to display those, and what's the point of buying them if you can't display them? You know, I've got some of the combiners, I've got Devastator, I've got Predaking, but most of the large city bots, I didn't get Trypticon. I was not a huge fan of Trypticon because he didn't really have a robot mode, just the dinosaur and city modes. But Omega was always one of my favorites, and I definitely will be picking this one up. But other cool reveals were also, we are getting a new updated Jetfire. So we've gotten some pretty good Jetfires from Hasbro, updated Jetfires. None of, you know, really as good as the original. They really, you know, the original incorporated a mold that they really can't use anymore. Was from a different company. So, you know, we've never really gotten a true reissue of Jetfire since back in the original G1 days. And Jetfire was a pretty awesome toy. Just the look of them and stuff. Was it Maycroft? I forget the original line that essentially was from, but it wasn't a line that I collected. But I always loved the Jetfire or Skyfire. You know, he was called Skyfire in the cartoons, and Jetfire is the toy. And but I always thought he was a cool robot. Now he is. In the original, he was big. You know, he was bigger than Optimus Prime. Even in the cartoon, he was pretty big. This one, I don't think is going to be as big. But as far as the actual look, I mean, that robot mode just looks dead on to how he appeared in the cartoon. So I love that. He's got, looks like an alternate mode, which looks pretty cool. That wasn't something you could do with the original toy. And then his jet mode looks pretty good as well. So even though, again, we've had some pretty good Jetfire reissues in the past, I'm still excited for this one and looking to pick that one up. Now, as far as prices go, the Jetfire, maybe he is going to be, I guess he's going to be, a Voyager class? Looks like he's going to cost about $80. So, you know, maybe he is going to be a decent size, bigger than at least the previous Jetfire reissues that we've gotten. And then the Omega Supreme is going to cost $160. That's what it's going to retail for, which, you know, for that size of Transformer is pretty, you know, standard. And then another one we're getting, which I'm not familiar with, not one I probably will end up getting, is Impactor. So that, I don't know if that's a original G1 character. It's not one I'm familiar with, but they're doing him. He was revealed. And then the final one is a new Mirage. So this one, again, his robot mode looks almost identical to his original G1 mode. Looks really good. I am waiting. I so much wish that we would get an MP Mirage. I've really been disappointed in the Masterpiece line. It looks like they've just been doing a bunch of reissues and some Beast Wars stuff, but it's been some time really since we've gotten an actual new G1 character for the MP line. So I wish Takara would start picking that back up. But you know, this Siege line has definitely been giving us some really nice G1 designs and stuff. So you know, Mirage is looking really good, and then his car mode looks pretty good. You know, it looks like the F1 Formula car. So you know, again, I have to always laugh with these Siege robot modes for the Autobot, or vehicle modes for the Autobot, since they look like their Earth counterparts. And the whole idea behind Siege is this is supposed to be kind of their pre-Earth forms, but still have tires and things like that. And I know, again, Hasbro basically admitted that they did that because they didn't think kids, which is still one of their primary targets with these, would not be interested in future-looking space cars, I guess. So they went with pretty much their Earth modes, even though that doesn't really fit in with the overall Siege storyline. So that's it. Hopefully you've been enjoying Logan back here playing with his toy while I've been talking, and you know, I'd love to hear your thoughts on everything we talked about. And as I think I briefly mentioned at the beginning, you know, we are starting to see these Toy Fair reveals from these companies. I suspect any day now, maybe even by the time you're watching this video, there'll be some more Hasbro reveals, maybe either for Star Wars or Marvel. But if not today, in the very near future, I'm expecting reveals to come for those. I don't know what exactly they will be. Actually, before we go, there is something I wanted to touch upon. A rumor, this again is a rumor, and this rumor comes from yakface.com. Actually, I'm going to pull it up here. I don't know how much truth there is to it, and the primary basic basis of this rumor seems to be there is a listing, some type of listing for whatever this is, this new line of Star Wars figures that Hasbro's doing up on Walmart.com. You know, no images or anything, but what it's being called is Star Wars The Black Series Hyperreal, and these are supposed to be an updated version of 6-inch action figures. So the best I can tell, in large part based on the price point, which is $80, it looks like Hasbro is maybe going to be taking a cue from Mezco Toys' wheelhouse and doing like 112 collective versions of their Star Wars figures. That's the best I can, if this, you know, it turns out to all be true and everything, that's the best I can imagine with this kind of price point of what we'd be getting. Supposedly better articulation than normal Black Series figures, cloth outfits and stuff. So again, you know, it seems like very much like they're going to try and tap into that 112 collective market for Star Wars. I personally, I prefer the plastic in general, and especially when you're talking about $80 per figure. The one listed on Walmart is Darth Vader, so I don't know if that'll be something that gets revealed before Toy Fair. We'll have to see. You know, I talked about in the last news video about those 80th anniversary Marvel Legend figures. So I think there's a good chance that we might get previews of those in the next few days. But again, we'll just have to wait and see. But let me know what you thought about everything we talked about today. I will put a link to the Yak Face article about these Hyperreal figures if you want to check that out, read more about it. Again, not really much in the way of specific details at this point, other than just the listing over at Walmart and such. But you know, if we don't see a preview of these this week, I almost guarantee if these end up being real and everything, we will see more about these next week at Toy Fair. So, and again, mark your calendars. Toy Fair starts on February 16th. It's a Saturday. That's when all the Hasbro reveals will be and everything. And definitely that Saturday and Sunday, you want to be online and check out all the latest reveals. Okay, so let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Subscribe to the channel. Again, getting real close to 50,000 subscribers, and we'll do something special once I hit that benchmark. You know, you can also hit the bell notification so you're alerted every time I upload a new video. And if you're not following me, if you're not on the message boards and chatting with me there, then of course you can also follow me on my Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram accounts. I have links to those in the video description as well. Until next time, guys, I'll catch you later.